All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are live. Hello and welcome. It is time for round 13 of the ISRL Division 1 Championship, and what a race we have here in store for you. After a bit of a break last week, given the race intertwined with the real-life Miami GP, we are back and at it here, and it's the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, and we are here at Baku City Circuit, and just getting set and ready for our short qualifying session. My name is Eric, our Follow Monkeys, here in the booth to take you through the action, joined as always by Jamie or Indigo in the booth. And Jamie, how you doing? Excited for what we have in store here at Baku?
It's just Baku is always an interesting circuit to watch out for, especially with the safety cars as well. And it's very easy to lose it around here as well. So let's see how the drivers get on. And yeah, like you said, we missed the last Grand Prix. I think it was believed to be in France, wasn't it, last week? But
Yeah.
obviously with the Miami Grand Prix clashing with the Div 1. I actually commentated for Div 2, and that turns out to be a pretty decent race, so hopefully it can be a decent race here for Div 1 as well. Right, here we've got Nolan, the first man out of the track then in the McLaren, and let's see what the drivers can do around here at the streets of Baku. 3.7 miles long, or 6 kilometers long if you like it in those units, and it's going to be a 27 lap race, I believe. Is that right? 27 lap race?
26, I believe, was what I saw, but very close. We'll forgive you, but I'm seeing Nathan actually leading the way as he's coming nearly through the end of.
I didn't see that on the map.
Yeah, that AlphaTauri just hides, just camouflages here on that mini map there, so no worries about that. But with the sector to go, the very high-speed Sector 3, we'll see what Nathan can do once he gets started on that flying lap of his. And yeah, I mean, it was the French Grand Prix last week, and that race is going to get postponed on a future date. So once we get more information, we will make sure to pass it on. But as Nathan's about to start the lap, Jamie, do you want to take us through it?
Approached about 329 kilometers per hour, about 205. So we head down to turn number 1, then hitting the apex into turn 1 with third gear, then using the outside curve for rotation as it leads on the curve. Coming into turn 2, then another 9 degrees corner, hitting that inside curve there, probably a bit too much, but still gets away with it. DRS enabled then as we head down the second straight, another possible overtaking opportunity if you're alongside your rival. Very easy to outbrake yourself, and if you do, you'll hit that wall or scrape it. As we come down into turn number 3 then, just missing the curve a little bit, but gets a decent exit as we make our way into turn number 4. Another slow speed corner into second gear, up into third immediately, then goes up into fourth as we make our way turn to left-handed corner. And see that he rides the curve through there, and he will clip this one, or slightly miss it, and he gets good exit cut out there using the throttle as well. As we make our way down into this corner, you want to take a lot of it, and you need to get prepared as well for the castle session. It's going to be very interesting to see how the drivers take it then through here. Third gear, using that curve, I just try and carry the speed through there without hitting the walls. This one, you can go out wide without evaluating. As you can see there, Nathan has got away with that one. I also know that myself because I tried it plenty of times and it worked out without evaluating it. Elevation changes flat out through here. Now turn number 13, I believe. You can spot the breaking point for this one. Get the car turned in, make sure you don't hit that outside wall. You want to get as close to it as possibly can. As we come into the final corner, that was turn 17, not turn 13. And gets the car rotated through there using the curve. Coming through these fast parts off the track now, fully flat out for these two corners. Should have no problem here whatsoever. There are a lot of drivers in the last few games did struggle around there because you tend to lose the back end of the rear car, but the downforce of these cars is incredible. DRS line then as we approach about 325 kilometers an hour, about 202 as we make our way towards the line. It's going to be a 37.9, and that for the first lap time is quite decent then. So I want to see if anybody can beat it. The next one to cross the line is the McLaren driver of Nolan then. And let's see what lap time he can put on the board for McLaren then as he makes his way down a long straight with the DRS today. For loads of drivers out there, to see his comments, there's a QVR Campbell on the medium tyres for starters, but they'll put the softs on eventually. And Nolan makes his way towards the line. Not representing lap time, must have made a mistake somewhere on the lap, or it's just a feeler lap to see how the track conditions are.
Yeah, you want to think it's a bit of a feeler lap for Nolan there. The 39.4 going to be quickly falling down the order as the likes of XL Rocco and Jamie and the two Haas drivers setting their laps. Dan also setting a 38 flat, coming close to that time set by Nathan. But Jamie won, disqualified for going the wrong way. Not too sure what happened there. I don't know if I quite agree with that as... I think he just went very deep into turn one, or into the turn one braking zone, completely missed that, and it seems like just trying to get back on track. The qualifying marshals just wanted absolutely nothing to do with it. So unfortunately, from what was right around fourth or fifth at the time on the map, down to last. Not what Jamie One was hoping for here, all considered. As it looked like he had a pretty good lap all considered, right around that 138 pace that we're seeing most of the drivers do. But very quickly, lots of lap times on the board, spreading between, we saw Nathan with the 37.9, Dan at 38 flat, excuse me, but lots of drivers on their first laps, sitting around that mid to high 38s, going into the 39s, so you can see really just banker laps from a lot of drivers here, especially around this circuit. I like the idea, just get a feel for it here on race day, get accustomed to it. You don't want to be pushing too hard here this early in qualifying, and I mean, now that they've got that first lap, and I think this is where we're going to start seeing the true shootout here. Drivers are going to start to push a little bit more, take a bit more risk, take a bit more chances, and I think we're going to see the lap times improve. But a driver who has yet to set a time and about to soon, or should be, is Feral Fury, who's reserving here, coming fresh off that Division 2 drive. And here in Division 1, let's see what that first time is going to be. 11th fastest, 39.6. So a little off the pace, just outside of the top 10, but I'm sure there's room for improvement there as the session moves on.
Yeah, two more drivers a lot of time is Captain Blade and RELP. They're both on different tyres, of course. One's on the medium compound tyre, as on the other is on the soft. But total It's just missed turn number 2 and has to go wide and take a avoided action there to make sure he don't hit the wall then. So he outbroke himself, fortunately, and that lap time is abandoned then. So crucial times for total Pease because he hasn't got a lap time on the board, neither is his teammate, but his teammate is on the medium compound tyres. You expect, a little bit of hesitation going in there, but still makes the corner, does Captain Blade. He's only fueled that car for one lap, it seems, and his middle set is a 40.4, decent lap for the for the medium compound tyre, the mid-range tyre. But with 10 minutes to go, you expect people to go in the pit lane now and change onto those soft compound tyre because it's quite late, because usually go out there very early in the mediums, but towards the middle part of qualifying, you go to the soft compound tyres to start your actual flying run. So let's see what Captain Blade does then. He makes his way towards the line. It's going to be a 39.1, and that puts him in the top 10 then. So just behind QVR Campbell, who set his best laps out of the medium. So the mediums are not too shabby around here. But Total Pease then has backed out of it. But I think he's got plenty of fuel on board because he did go off at turn number 2 then. So his tyres shouldn't be too bad, nor his fuel load should be too low either. So he can cool those tyres down, save the battery, and if he wants to, go for another lap time on those set of stops because there won't be too much life taken out of them.
Yeah, I mean, a pretty good lap time from Captain Blade. You can see currently the only drivers showing the mediums. Of course, 4 drivers set that initial time on that yellow wall medium tires. But most, Jamie, as you're mentioning, switching over to the softs now. They got that first lap in, got that feel, and now looking to push on the quicker soft tire, which seems to be the ideal qualifying tire here. And for Pease, I mean, we saw he went off on turn 2. It looked like his turn 1 was not ideal either. So I think better to have that out of the way early, as you can see, opening up DRS. And I think now going to be trying once again. He's got the fuel to do it. Let's see if he can get through at least that initial sector 2. Much better on the braking this time around, as he does make it through without any issues. So looking to be on pace to improve on that initial lap. Of course, the banker lap we set, but also we'll have to see if it's going to be enough on those slightly more worn soft tires. Given a lot of the field is back out on the track now with a fresh set of softs, looking to set their second laps here, and I think we're going to be seeing some improvement. Maybe drivers. I'm thinking a lot of them breaking into the 138s or getting into the mid to low 138s. Maybe a couple near the top, matching those, getting into the 137s. I'd expect Nathan to improve. Dan Wouter sitting in those low 138s. I think they're going to be improving as well. But we'll keep an eye out on how that's going to play out. I've got QVR Campbell though on my screen coming through sector 1. I thought he had his teammate of Feral Fury behind him. I was thinking they were going to use a little bit of. What'd you see there?
Can I interrupt?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, so Total Peas has just had his laps ruined, and there's a bit of disagreement between Isa Kush and Peas. I was looking at Peas' second lap there, and coming down at turn 16, Isa Kush has not registered that Total Peas was on a lap time, but unfortunately, the Alfa Romeo driver got blocked by Isa Kush there, so that's a slammed up penalty if Peas does report it. And unfortunately there, Isa Kush might have to take a bit of pain. Isa Kush there was just minding his own business on his outlap, but not realising that Total Peas was on a flying lap there. So not a representative for Total Peas, and also it didn't pop on your screen, I don't think. Relentless Car Mentalist had a 5-place grid penalty for a collision with Rocco. They were both on their outlaps. I'm not quite sure if they just hit each other on their outlaps, just not paying attention or anything. But unfortunately, Car Mentalist has taken a penalty, so already he could have dropped down the infield.
No, I didn't notice that at all on my end, so very unfortunate for Carmentalists, and it's going to be a little bit of that added pressure for the Williams driver as he's coming through Sector 3, but really going to be wanting to improve and really going to be wanting to put that Williams car as high as he possibly can to minimize the damage from that grid drop that he's going to have to deal with for the start of the race. But as he heads towards the line, let's see what the time is going to be, and he puts himself up to 6th fastest, so does make a pretty good improvement. And speaking of improvement, oh my goodness, knocking a half a second off of his former provisional pole position time. Nathan, or Ariel Nathan, I should say, with a 1:37.4 on the soft tires, growing that lead, or extending that advantage. And probably a good thing you did too is Dan in the Ferrari, who's been very back and forth so far in this qualifying session, sets a 1:37.9 himself. I think would have been good enough for that provisional pole had Nathan not set that new time just now.
Yeah, it's incredible. He gained half a second on his second flat lap. I wonder where he gained most of the time, because that first lap looked pretty decent except from turn number 1 there. But yeah, good job from Nathan. And Dan Neisink looked at his middle sector, gained about 3/10, and he lost 2/10 in that final sector. So he needs to hook up that final sector. Does Dan Neisink to get closer or be more secure in second place? Good job to QVR Campbell in P3 and Killer Blue as well in P5, showing some good pace in that Alpine. And Carl Menzel has popped himself up into P7, like you said. So yeah, he's going to drop 5 places already. So does he might want to consider starting on, if the guys behind do improve on their lap tyres, would he might consider starting on the medium compound tyres? I don't know, it's quite hard because you don't want to start outside the top 10 on a set of stock compound tyres, but others on mediums. Here comes Walter in P4 with a 38.0, quite close times between QVR, Campbell and Walter. McLaren driver's got himself on the second row off the grid then. And let's see Val Fiore, he's next across the line. Got a lovely toe from QVR Campbell, and let's see where his lap time puts him. And he puts him inside the top 10 with a 39.3 for the Aston Martin driver.
Yeah, good lap time from Farrell, knocking 3/10 off his time, just inside that top 10 here. We'll see if that'll be enough. But with the likes of, we've got Nolan on an outlap right now looking to improve. And, well, speaking of, we just had, what was that, XL Larkin, I think, who just crossed the line with a 38.8 to bump everybody down 1 spot there, as now that's the second Ferrari driver inside the top 10. I mean, of course, his teammates up in second at the moment, that's Dan, but still a good lap from XL Larkin there to put himself inside that top 10 through these second round of laps that we're seeing. But with 4.5 minutes to go, looks like drivers should have enough time to set one more lap if they so choose to. And I mean, while I'm watching the likes of Captain Blade go around, I want to go back to I'll say Carmentalis with that penalty that he has. I think you were talking about it a little bit, Jamie, with how he wants to go about this. I'm looking at this on my end, and if I was happy with the lap I set in terms of just general pace, I don't know if I'd want to go out. Maybe, I know I'm falling down, but I'm going to have to ask the question. I'm not too sure. If he finishes inside the top 10 and then falls down outside of the top 10, does he still get free choice of tires, or will he still need to start on that set?
I think in recent races I've seen when people got fabulous clip notes, they start the tyres, they set in the top 10. So if he does fit qualify P7 on the softs, he drops down 5 places, such as down to 12th place. I think he will start the soft compound tyres because he qualified on those inside the top 10. I think that rule does still apply. I'm not quite sure because I did see it in recent races, but If that's the case, if he does qualify, we'll see in a few minutes' time. See what happens and see what the outcome is on qualifying. But interestingly, notice one driver on the medium compound tyres. That's Justice down there in P13 on the medium compound tyres. So, yeah, very late in qualifying. You expect lots of drivers to be on the soft compound tyres, but Justice decides he wants to start on the mediums. I don't think he's got enough time to come back in the pit lane and pop on a brand new set of the soft compound tyres. But Relentless Nathan retired very early in the session, about 4 minutes left to go, 4 minutes and 30. So he thinks he's safe. Dan Neising is still in the pit lane. QVR Campbell's coming out. So Relentless Nathan then only needed 2 lap times. He's saving 1 set of soft compound tyres just in case for a late safety car later on in the race. But yellow flags down there. Captain, it's not Captain Blaine, I thought it was the Alpha Male. That's Total Peas who's causing the yellow flags, but he's just slowing down on his out lap to get the tyres in the right windows then. So a lot of drivers then in the pit lane just waiting for the track evolution to kick in, waiting for the timer to go down, for the track to be his absolute best then. We'll see the top 10 shootout. Valpuri is coming out the pit lane. Where's Nolan? Nolan's half a second up, but he's validated, unfortunately, on his lap time. So he'll get another one on the board if he wants to come back to the pit lane or not. I'm not quite sure if he has the time. But he's going out there yet again and he's going to start a second flying lap on the same set of soft compound tyres then, down in P13. So this has to count. Justice, however, has just gone into P9 on the medium compound tyres at 38.7. So not a bad place to start on the inside the top 10 on the medium compound tyres. But let's see then if anybody behind him can improve and demote him. We know comments this will drop down 5 places, so Justice will move P8 at least. But yeah, let's see what happens in the late stage qualifying. Can anybody improve? Is that Issa Kush also on the mediums though? It's just the wrong tyre graphic.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I think so. I see him on the soft tires here on my screen, just showing Justice there. I mean, with the he did set his best time on the mediums though, did Isaac Kush. So I think that might be what you're seeing here. But on the current tires, everybody's got the softs, other than Justice, who, like you said, put himself up into P9, so that's where he wants to go. The question is more, is that going to be enough? Now, Nathan, he did retire very early. Like you had mentioned, we're seeing a couple more retirements now, the likes of Carmentalist and Ben JS that we saw previously. I think Ben was happy with his time. Carmentalist, I think, thinking a little bit where I was hinting before I did ask that question, where if you're happy with the lap time, see if, at worst, depending on where you end up, you just eat that time penalty. I was also thinking if you can just, let's say, if you're going to end up outside of the top 10, if you can find a way to fall just outside of the top 10 without improving, then you've got that free choice of tire choice as well, either way, which could be a strategy that you would run, a bit of an alternate strategy, and see if you can make up some places in the race rather than through qualifying. But for QVR Campbell, as he was running a lap, I believe that was an invalidation along the way, so he's gonna have to go again. I think Dangerous starting his flying lap, as well as a couple other drivers here, all being led the way by it looks like it's I think that was Dan actually, who's probably going to be the no, is it? I'm getting lost here on oh, it might be Peas. I think I'm getting the yeah, it is Peas. I was getting the 2 red cars confused. As qualifying ticked down to a close here, so it's all every driver here just going to be going for broke, seeing what they can do. I mean, Peas has got to be perfect here this time around. Let's see what it's looking for Sector 2. So he's 22 seconds faster than that 2-minute flat that he has, and that puts him in around a 138. So I think he's going to have to find a little bit more here in Sector 3, which is really benefits those high-speed setups. And apologies if you're hitting the rumbling. We got a thunderstorm here. It's all going off here at the final stages of qualifying. Peas crossing the line, jumps up to P7 with a bit more of a respectable 38.5. XL Rocco crossed the line just behind, remaining in 5th place. And I want to see what's going to happen to the top. Dan had an invalidation, so will not be improving, unfortunately for him. Wouter crossed the line. It's a 37.7, so still a little bit off the time set by Nathan. There goes Dan across the line. I think it's all going to be up to QVR Campbell now to see if he can improve enough to leapfrog a couple spots here, maybe snag that provisional pole. We've seen the shootout happen in the past, but as he's heading towards the straight, the final corner, Justice is a little bit further ahead in the Red Bull.
Wow.
Does jump up to P9, it looks like, but as QVR Campbell is going to cross the line, it's only going to be one spot. He jumps up to P3 with a 37.861 as his final time here.
Yeah, unfortunately there, Isa Kush down in 15th place, also known as last one of the slowest tyres thanks to Jamie Moore's disqualification. Did validate on his final flying lap there, so Isa Kush unfortunately didn't get a clean lap time in. He'll start down at P15, so let's see what his race pace is. But Justice then had 3 attempts on those medium compound tyres. Probably one of them was a cool down lap. I tried to set as many lap times as he can to try and improve in P9, but P9's still good, and let's see then how he approaches this race, because he did quite a few laps on the mediums. Usually, if you're inside the top 10, you don't go for a lot of laps on the same tyres because you don't want to take too much wear out of them during the race, but it is the medium compound tyres, of course, so and safety cars are a factor around this race, so probably make up for that later on in the race then. So Nathan then did go for the last flying lap. He had 3 tenths spare against Walter. QVR Campbell P3, Dan Isaac unfortunately validated on the last lap. Exo Rocco and Killer Blue, good performance for those two. Total P's under massive pressure because he didn't have a lap time. If he validated it, he would start in last place, but he pops himself in P7 at the very last moment with his Alfa Romeo teammate there in PA Captain Blade.
Yep, and you got to think for Nathan with that time that he set, it must have been like very happy with it. I know you mentioned earlier in the qualifying, it was a surprise improvement, but maybe for Nathan, there's a chance he could have just whipped out the lap, that just perfect qualifying lap that he just knew it's not going to get better than this, so I'll just save the tires and let them come at me. But that's working out for him. Starting in P1, he's got Wouter in second, the Aston Martin and Ferrari, QVR Campbell and Dan on the second row, XL Rocco, Killer Blue, 5th and 6th on row 3. Notably, though, Carmentalist does find himself inside the top 10, so I think he will be forced to start on those soft tires, but with that 5-place grid drop, dropping down to P15, if that is the case, maybe not the ideal spot to be compared to, let's say, if he would have fallen one spot lower, end up in 11th, have that free choice of tires anyways, and maybe could have worked a strategy just a little bit better. But we'll see how that's all going to play out as we jump into the race. It's looking to be pretty sunny skies here, so I don't think weather is going to play too much of a factor here this race. But of course, Jamie, you said it best, safety cars come out in full force here around Baku City Circuit, and I wouldn't be surprised to see at least one safety car poke its head out, given the nature of this track, and given what we've seen over the course of the last few Division 1 races. Hopefully it's not going to be too crazy of a moment, but they always tend to come out in the most hectic of times. But we'll see how it's all going to play out as drivers are ready, getting that formation lap started off, led by Nathan, who had that pole position. And let's take a quick peek here. Of course, top 8 all on the soft tires, as we would expect. That was their qualifying tire that they set up. Justice, who's in 9th, he's on the mediums, but of course they're about 3-lap old medium tires, so slightly more worn than the rest of the field. Nolan, who got jumped up into a top 10, got that free choice of tires on the mediums as well. And you can see everybody below that outside the top 10, other than Izat Kush and, of course, Carmentalist, who's forced to start on that tire. They all opted for the mediums. Izat, Carmentalist on the softs. Carmentalist by force, Izat, of course, by choice. I think looking to use those to his advantage. And for that Mercedes driver, it's going to be crucial that he gains as many spots as quick as possible to get himself essentially inside that top 8 and catch back up with the that lead group of cars that are going to be on the soft tires as well.
Yeah, so unfortunately there, what happened to comments, there's the next Rocco, not quite sure who was at fault. I just saw the aftermath of it, and it looks like comments that was just ahead of Rocco there, so maybe came out the pit lane together, and one of them may have pressed release button earlier than the other, but it's done and dusted that. Oh, Nathan there hit the wall coming out of the castle section there, but it is his out lap. No damage, fortunately, for his formation lap, otherwise he had to go back in the pit lane there. So Nathan then just getting away with that one, but obviously put more tyre wear on his tyres. He always pushes very hard on his formation laps just to relentless Nathan. I shouldn't be surprised about it. You can see him bashing the wall there. But yeah, let's see then if Wilder could get him down into turn 1, if he gets a good start, takes the inside line, try and get ahead of Nathan, or will Nathan have it covered then as it's a very short run to the line into turn 1. But Carl Mensters and Lisa Kushted on the soft compound tyres have to make up as many positions as they can ahead of the medium runners to make their strategy work. Carl Mensters, I presume, didn't want to start the soft compound tyres, being P15, but unfortunately he had to there, and he'll try to make as many positions as they all make their way to the line, then Nathan following with Wilder second place.
Yep, and as they head towards the line, we're just about set to start the Grand Prix here. The 26 laps around Baku City Circuit. Very high speed track here. We're going to be seeing a lot of action here, especially down this back straight with DRS, with all the overtaking, the hard braking into turn 1. It is going to make for a very exciting race. I mean, in my experience, races around Baku always seem to bring out the excitement here in the F1 game universe. But as the drivers have taken their place, we are just about set to go here, ladies and gentlemen. For the Baku City Circuit Azerbaijan Grand Prix, up to 4 lights, 5 red lights. And the lights are off, and we are racing here in Baku as the drivers head down towards turn 1. You can see Wouter trying to make a move, close off that outside line into turn 1, but Nathan taking the lead through that first corner. You can see XL Larkin making up a couple spots here, a little bit at the front. Dan and XL Rocco alongside through turn 2 as they're battling for position. Who's going to get the better of who as they head down towards turn 3 here, a little bit further ahead. It looks like it is going to be XL Rocco who gets that spot just a little bit later on the braking. So XL Rock up into 4th, Dan down into 5th, and Feral Fury losing out in a couple positions a little bit further down, as it looks like they're side by side with the likes of Carmentalist, who hasn't been able to get too much of a move on here in these early stages. And I thought I saw something happen there. I'm not too sure what it was. Jamie, you might have seen that's similar, but what did you see there?
God, what a lovely move there for Carl Mentalist. I didn't expect it to make a move from that being far back, but he did it. Made his way past. Oh, contact! And that is Nolan trying to go down the inside of Justice into the castle section. I think that Nolan should have definitely backed out of that one. He was nowhere near to try and make an overtake with Justice. He hit the wall, lost his wheel, and I hope Justice got away with that one because he made contact with the wall as well. So let's look at his front wing. It should be fine. He made contact with his rear tyres. With the wall did Justice. So Nolan he made contact with Justice's left rear tyre. Justice got hit the wall too, but it looks like he's got away with it, thankfully. And the safety car has came out to neutralise the race then, so I don't think anybody will come into a pit stop. It's way too early on the soft compound tyres to come for a pit stop then. This will just help with their tyre wear later for the race, but one of the time already. It's about to say on the first lap that everybody made it through cleanly without hitting the wall or hitting each other. And XL Rocco, what a lovely move that was down the inside of turn 2 to go alongside Dan Isaac, and he completed the move into turn 3 by outbreaking him. But look at that, the wild turn, all of them in the pit lane there. So I wonder if they're going to go on the hard compound tyres. I saw somebody overtake somebody in the pit lane. Was that Killer Blow? I'm not quite sure. There's like 3 cars alongside each other in the pit lane before the line, and so they have to sort themselves out. But I did see somebody try to go down the inside of the pit lane, but on the hard compound tyres, that's very interesting then in the race. Let's see if anybody else goes to the mediums. Looks like some people are on the mediums. That could be a 2-star strategy. I don't believe those mediums could go to the end, can they? I'm not quite sure.
Ooh, it's going to be tough. I don't think they can go to the end, but it does open, I think, just to get back on either a second set of mediums or maybe extend the mediums and go for a set of softs for the final few laps of the race. But it's an interesting call here, effectively neutralizing a lot of the race here with the tire strategy, given everybody who wasn't on a medium set of medium tires already pit for a set of mediums. Except for Killer Blue, who I think is committing to that one-stop hard tire strategy, who wants to go to the end here. So it'll be interesting to see how Killer Blue handles this from P12. He's on the hard tires. I think he's gonna lose out a little bit here initially. I think from the likes of the other drivers that are on the mediums on that quicker tire. But of course, when we start seeing the mediums start to dwindle out, wear out a little bit, I think that's where Killer Blue can really make his mark. And if he can save himself that pit stop, an extra little added bonus as well. We'll have to see how it's all going to play out. But an interesting strategy call here to put on the hards, but. Well, like I said, I guess we'll have to see how that's going to play out for him, given that he can go to the end, assuming that we don't have another safety car that comes out. And of course, my prediction of seeing at least one, it came true. I'll be honest, though, I wasn't expecting it to come true this early on in the race here after about half a lap of racing.
Yeah, no, they're sticking his nose in some way. Shouldn't, unfortunately, he paid the consequences for that, and he's out of the race. But I think where's Justice is a P2 now. Effectively, those guys, the whole of the field except Killer Blue are on the same strategy now, because those guys in the top 6 who haven't pitted, top 5 who haven't pitted, are going to go on the soccer powered tyres anyway later in the race. And these guys behind JB1 who have pitted are going to go on the soccer powered tyres later as well, maybe a few laps later than those other medium runners in the top 5, except Killer Blue, of course. But Isa Kushted is now in the pit lane, and let's see what tyres he's going for. Can't go for any other tyres except the hards. No, it's the soft compound tyres then, so he knows the guys ahead will have to make another pit stop, and he could have put on a set of soft compound tyres, have the best tyres out of all of them, capitalise on them and try and make his way up the field. Oh, sorry, I just put my pen there. Trying to make his way up the field as quickly as he can then, passing those medium and hard runners, and when he goes for a second stop, put on a brand new set of mediums, and let's see where he goes from there then. So the guys ahead will go on the soft compound tyres later in the race. He will go on the mediums once those soft start to wear out.
Yeah, so it's another interesting call here from in terms of the pit stop strategy. I guess he's given that the grid is going to be bunched up, he's not losing anything, pitting onto a set of softs. So I think he's oh my goodness. Sorry, words are being very difficult for me at this stage of the afternoon. Apologies for that. But if I can get through this train of thought, I think he's going to be trying to get some overtakes done here on those soft tires, knowing the rest of the field is on mediums, with the grid being as bunched up. I think he's going to try to use that to his advantage. And like I said, just flip that reverse strategy compared to the rest of the field. I mean, of course, like most of the grid, they've already used their essentially their 2 mandatory different tire compounds, so they've got free reign, free choice of what they want to do pit stop wise for the rest of the race. So I mean, good to get that out quickly, and with that, we might be seeing just with that some different strategies as this race plays on, right? Because I think some drivers might look to go for mediums to soft. Some might do mediums to mediums. Of course, these may be soft to mediums, or pit 3 times for I don't know, 3 different sets of softs. Maybe not ideal in that last one, but it's possible. We'll see how it all plays out with the safety car coming in at the end of this lap. XL Larkin, he becomes the de facto safety car. You can see him slowing down the field, letting the safety car take that advance, get into the pit lane. You can see all the drivers getting that last little bit of extra temperature into the tires, into the car, getting everything up and ready to go. Just awaiting for the cue from the leader in the Ferrari on when he wants to go. Waiting quite a little bit here, which now it looks like he is going to go, and you can see a lot of battling here beside, a little bit 2x2. It's going to have to get sorted out into turn 1 as XL Larkin has a great start here. Where'd you see the contact there?
Walter and JB1. JB1's in the 3 wide going into turn number 2. Then you can see XL Rocco bounced over the curb. He didn't get the best of exits as he could apply the throttle as early as he would have wanted, but he's made his way past his Haas teammate as QVR Campbell's fighting JB1 down as we go into turn number 3 now. QVR Campbell ahead of JB1. So JB1's just lost 3, now 4. Or maybe 4 if Pease goes around the outside and completes his move then. So Pease now makes his way up into P9. JB1 then got absolutely swamped on the restart because he had someone behind him and had someone alongside him as well. He jumped over the curb into turn number 1, went wide, Walter hit the back of him, but thankfully sustained no full wind damage and he was able to continue there in P6, following Nathan, because Nathan got the move done. Then Walter had to follow as quickly as he can, otherwise he lose too much time. And you can see there, Issa Kush then on the soft compound tires. Captain Blade looks like he got for a little bit of a spin there, or hit the wall. And I think he's got full wind damage as well to his Alfa Romeo, which he hasn't got, but he did make contact here again with the castle section. That's one more place Issa Kush has made up then. But you can see that Nathan right at the back of Foul Fury, then these newer medium runners looking to get past these guys and retaking the lead as quickly as they can. But you can see that Nathan, when he overtakes Foul Fury, Walter has to follow every single car that Nathan takes on as quickly as he can. Otherwise, when the DRS is enabled, Walter will lose that 1 second connection. You can see there's a whole train of cars right behind Foul Fury. Nathan using that ERS to boost his chances to get overtake him. Here comes Walter in the slipstream, of Foul Fury pulls to the left hand side now, and he will take Foul Fury for P5 as XR Rocco sets the fastest lap of the race. Further behind, will XR Rocco go for a move on Foul Fury? Is there enough space to go on the inside there? Yes, there is then, as he gets a good exit cut out of turn 1, and into turn 2 we go. He's alongside him, and he's got ahead of him. Up into P6 he goes, and Foul Fury has just dropped into P7 behind his QVR teammate. Will he let QVR Campbell go? Because that's his Aston Martin teammate. He's on a different strategy, and of course fighting with the likes of Relentless Nathan, Relentless Walter, and XR Rocco.
Yeah, you got to think that they're not going to be battling for too long, but they have to do this wisely, because you can see right up on the back of QVR Campbell is Ariel Pease, is also looking to make up a couple spots here. But there goes QVR Campbell down the inside. You can see Farrell taking a little bit of that wider line. That was executed absolutely perfect from Farrell there, just allowing his teammate to go to the inside line, going a little bit wide, and quickly heading right back onto the racing line to not allow Pease to have any opening to follow QVR through that section. So great work there from the Aston Martin team in getting those drivers switched. That way QVR Campbell can continue the charge with that lead pack that's still all trying to chase down Nathan, as now once again you can see them approaching fairly quickly the top 3 here. But next up on the I guess the order is Ben JS, but they're a little bit further ahead, so I think Nathan's going to have to bide his time a little bit more, and you can see a little bit of separation that was done. Meanwhile, Pease does get past Feral Fury, but as you can see with the onboard, the damage is already done, as Pease is 1.3 seconds behind QVR Campbell now. So I think Feral Fury, for all intents and purposes, that's a job well done for the Aston Martin driver here, as they held off just enough to keep out of that 1 second range, and onus is now on Pease to try to push a little bit more to try to close up with this pack of cars here to get into that DRS range once it does end up being activated.
Issa Kush overtaking Killer Blue there, finally overtaking. I was about to say that Issa Kush had to overtake Killer Blue because he's 2 steps harder tyre than in comparison to Issa Kush being on the soft compound tyre, so he has to move with the grid as quickly as he can then to make the use of these softs and utilise them to good effect. And yeah, you can see the gap there between Total Peas and QVR Campbell is closing down. Can he get himself in the 1 second range of DRS using the clear air he's got? And I think he has got himself in that DRS, because in the first sector he will lose out, but in the middle sector he can gain back with the dirty air. These guys, look at these guys, all in one big DRS train behind XR Larkin, who's leading this race ahead of Justice. Ben JS and P3 holding his nerve against Nathan, who's currently being pressurised by Walter just further behind there. So all the train of cars, and I wonder what happens on the straight when they exit turn number 17 then, as we make our way out of there. The detection point will be further down the road as we come out of turn 17 then into the turn 18, and the fast 2 left right handers then. And let's see then what happens on the straight. DRS will be enabled for all of them down to down to Pease. Foul Fury is just outside the 1 second range, but he's under pressure from James One without DRS, so he's going to be vulnerable on the straight once we get there. We're on there now, and looks like there's no change in position. Nathan's too far behind, so he's stuck in that DRS train and effectively can't make his way past as quickly as he would have wanted. Pease, that's the fastest lap. Further behind, Dan Nising has overtaken James One. Dan is terrible, that was so close between those two. Foul Fury going around the outside of Jamie One then as we make our way into turn number 2, where Jamie will try to stick down the inside. They'll both have DRS, but Foul Fury had the outside line, will have better traction and he'll stay ahead. But Jamie One looks like he's using the ERS then to close in on Foul Fury, pulls out to the left hand side, and he makes the overtake for P10 and ahead of Valor Fury. Will he try to go back around the outside? No, he won't. J1 then has the position ahead of Valor Fury. Unless he comes back in down to turn number 4, which he will do. Not enough space around the outside. Don't want to end up like Grosjean and Russell did back in 2019 Singapore Grand Prix. And look at that. Around the outside goes Isa Kushten. Didn't even see that as a ball with Valor Fury. Isa Kushten moves himself up into P11 on those soft compound tyres, as you expect.
Yeah, I mean, that was a good little heads-up play from Isaac Kush. I mean, I looked back as they were heading into turn 3, and Isaac didn't really look to be part of that battle too much. But of course, I think the continuation of that battle through turn 3 and turn 4 just allowed the door to be open just enough with the extra grip on those soft tires. And Isaac catching, I think, all of us snapping there a little bit with a great move to go up into 11th place. As, like we said, he has to use those soft tires to his advantage, and already up into 11th, and he's gonna have to try to close that gap a little bit to Jamie 1 now. As it's a 1.2 second and just outside of DRS, not ideal here. Really going to be needed to help out. Meanwhile, up at the front, Justice getting ahead of XL Larkin. Ariel Nathan now going ahead of Larkin. You can see very close through into turn 1, going side by side. And it looks like Nathan does get the overtake to stick as he's up into second. XL Larkin and Ben JS down 1 position, 3rd and 4th. How's Wouter going to reply here? He's going to try to get by Ben, but you can see a little bit chaotic there heading into turn 3, but Wouter gets one move done on Ben JS. Rocco trying to follow suit as well right behind as they're side by side, these two cars, the Haas and the Alpine. How's that going to play out as we head through these tight corner section of Sector 2? They're going to have to sort it out one way or another, and it looks like they have sorted it out for the time being. But for Nathan, that's exactly what he needed to do here. He put at least one car between himself and what I can call his primary competitor here this race. Although they are very close together still, it's not as easy to overtake, I guess, here on this track with the DRS. But we've got a yellow flag, and that looks to be Feral Fury, who had a bit of a moment, and that appears to be right around the castle section there. So a little bit of a struggle from Feral Fury in that section. Hopefully that didn't bring damage, but I guess we'll see soon enough if that car does take a pit stop here at the end of this lap.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. A very easy spot to lose the car coming out of the castle section there. But he's kind of a bit too much speed, unfortunately, to get on the throttle too early. But here comes Nathan then on Justice. He'll make this overtake further behind his championship rival. Wilder will go down the inside of Larkin into turn 1. That's a crucial move there because he has to follow Justice. Well, he has to follow Nathan then. Every time he makes a move, he has to make a move himself. But let's see that as we make our way out of turn number 2, then is he close to making a move on Justice? No, he won't. Justice will have the DRS on Nathan, but as we come into the middle sector, can Nathan use this to his benefit to try and pull away in the middle sector, build that 1 second gap on the fresher tyres and his pure pace? XL Rocco is side by side with Ben JS. He goes around the outside. Is QVR Campbell going to follow through as we go into turn number 4 here? No, he can't. He gets a bit of wheel spin around the exit, and Ben JS remains ahead of QVR Campbell, so more frustration for the Scotsman there, as we would desperately love to overtake Ben JS to change. Oh, he lost traction there. I'm not quite sure if he got hit by P's, but QVR Campbell then, he's dropped down into P8 unfortunately there, probably picking up the throttle too early. Ambitious there, you can see him standing to the corners then, is QVR Campbell. His tyres must be hot or something like that. But he's just dropped behind P's then. He's making a move on Ben JS. But that was a good move from Nathan in the last lap because he got 2 for 1 cars. He was able to put 2 cars in between himself and Walter. But Walter got one of those cars. And looks like Justice stays in the DRS range. Can Walter overtake Justice? As Justice did get the best exits coming out of turn number 16 then. And he's 1 second almost outside the DRS range. This could be easy for Walter. He would hope that Justice won't get DRS. So make the overtake much easier without using too much of that battery and try and close in on Nathan as we make our way through the last 2 corners then. I think this is the last corner here to turn 20, but we make our way through turn 20 then. Has Justice got DRS? Yes, he has just got DRS. And Walter then, when he try and make a move into turn 1, he's too far back. He's not applying any energy to try and help his chances of overtaking it. Meanwhile, Total P is further behind. He's making a move on Ben JS. We go down into turn number 1, and he is up into P7. They're still side by side, but Ben JS then can't make a move. He's outside the track, and therefore has to concede the place. And watch out for QVR Campbell behind as these guys make their way on fresher tyres, as Isak Kushner goes for an early pit stop. Killer Blue goes for a pit stop on those hard compound tyres. So then it goes to the end of those hards. He must have thought there wasn't enough grip on those hards to try and go for the end. Unfortunately, there for him, and he's back on the medium tyres.
All right, QBR Campbell and Ben. I don't know if it's just my view here. Yeah, they. I know they grouped up together. QVR Campbell does get ahead of Ben there, but not too sure how legitimate that overtake actually was, at least from our end there. Hopefully the drivers had something a little bit different from there, as Ben hitting a lot of walls, so I'm not too sure if there's any a connection issue on that end, but that was a little bit interesting to see as I was on board, with Ben almost looking like he missed the corner there, but was because he and QVR Campbell were having a little bit of a battle. But looking at the front, Wouter still stuck behind Justice in third, so Justice doing a great job of holding off the McLaren, and of course we all know Nathan is benefiting from that quite a bit, as he can calm down just a little bit, knowing there's that slight extra security between himself and Wouter in the form of the Red Bull of Justice. But here comes Wouter, not much battery here in the tank, and you can see they're both closing to the leader here, so Nathan unable to truly get ahead. Meanwhile, XL Rocco getting ahead of XL Larkin, and I think that was Dan overtaking Ben JS as well to get up one position into 8th with the help of DRS down that long back straight. Are we going to see anybody come back into turn 3? It looks like I think the two XL drivers were thinking about it just a little bit, but didn't quite come into fruition. But that's P's right behind in P6. I think he also wanted to get ahead, but just couldn't quite get the overtake done. But now I know Jamie did mention Izat went for that pit stop a little early, got off the soft tires, and he's put on a set of mediums. Might try to go to the end on that set of medium tires, but I feel like all intents and purposes that strategy to take that extra pit stop on the softs, I'm not too sure if that truly worked out the way he was hoping for, given he's still just outside the top 10 now.
Yeah, Killer Blue as well, dude. Have a good time with the hard compound tyres. Just not enough grip around there to benefit the tyres on the hard, because it's just too hard. It's so hard to get temperature in those tyres as well. So unfortunately there, they didn't make the full use of them, but he couldn't go to the end either, because I think he knew he'd be vulnerable towards the end of the race as well. Killer Blue, those guys ahead, was going to take another pit stops on the mediums or softs. But yeah, Isak Kushner unfortunately didn't capitalise on those soft compound tyres, and had to get rid of them, otherwise falling too far behind. Total P's gets ahead of Larkin. Here's QVR Campbell. Larkin didn't find that too hard. Now he's on the fresher tyres and DRS of course. So both they're making their way through into P5, P6. Next is XO Rocco. Rocco is about 1.5 seconds away from Martin's DRS then. So can these two can close in on XO Rocco? They're just outside Rocco's DRS then, as they make our way into turn number 2. But with Justice and P2, at least it's not a case of Nathan pulling away and Martin being struck behind Justice, because for Wouter's sake, Nathan's not exactly pulling away. It's just that the DRS is so powerful. Justice is able to stick in there. Bear in mind his tyres are not too old against Wouter or Nathan. It's just 2 laps old, not too much at all. So it's very easy to stick in that DRS range. And for Wouter, he's glad that it's not a case of Nathan pulling away and him being struck behind Justice.
Yeah, but of course we do need to keep in mind the extra, I'd say, 3 laps or so that Justice did in qualifying on that set of mediums.
Yeah, that's true.
Which does add on to that total, but not reflected here with the race count. We're just seeing the laps here in the race, which Justice started on those tires. But I feel like, given how powerful the DRS is, especially down that backs, or I'll call it the start-finish straight, it's allowing Justice and Wouter to continuously close the gap. I mean, through the effort of, I'm sure, Nathan through Sector 2 to try to grow it. As long as that gap stays within 1 second, both drivers are going to be okay. And as they head down the start-finish straight, once again, let's see, 0.3 of a second is Justice to Nathan. You can see him closing quite a bit here at a rate of knots almost, and he does get the overtake done. So Justice retakes the lead of the race. Wouter behind, closing up, but not enough to to be able to overtake and follow in Justice's footsteps. So Justice had a great launch down that start finish straight. DRS definitely helped, but now let's see, is Nathan going to be fighting back to him here as we head towards turn 3? He's thinking about it, but not quite close enough to get the overtake done. But meanwhile, it looks like the two Ferraris changed places. Dan and XL Larkin, and also Killer Blue and Carmentalist having their own battle a little bit further down the order for what would be the last of the point scoring positions here, battling for P12, currently occupied by Killer Blue.
Dan Isaac there, XL Larkin there, allowed his teammate through. Was on board with that battle between Dan and XL Larkin. Larkin pulled to one side and let Dan through, knowing he's on better tyres, and Dan swerved to say thank you very much. So the two Ferraris then working well each other. XL Larkin acknowledging that Dan Isaac is in this fight for the DRS trade, yeah, and allowed him through. Can XL Larkin stay that DRS range, so tag him to the back of Dan Isaac and try and make something? He's just a bit outside the 1 second range, but in his low speed corners, can he try and make his way back in there? But yeah, just despite being on old tyres, he's still able to stick the pace. He's, like you said, he's took the lead of the race, so his tyres are still in good condition. He's able to fight with these guys. But Nathan then on the straight, will he tuck in behind Justice, or will he go for an overtake? I think he has to go for an overtake because he's too close to Justice, and Martin's close as well, so he has to. And there he goes there with the lack of DRS enabled for Nathan. Will Martin follow through? And he's using the ERS to get closer and closer. But can he make the move into turn 1 while Justice hasn't got DRS? He will try to as we go down the inside into turn number 1 then. Let's see who gets a better exit as BenJS then is in the pit lane to go for a pit stop, trying to do the undercut. And these guys ahead. Walter down the inside of Justice then. Justice on the outside line. Does he get DRS? Yes, he does then. So they get quite good to plan for Walter there, as he'd love to get past Justice with a clear move. But Justice there, with his fighting abilities and skills, was able to stick around the outside, gets a better exit on the outside line, and stay and remain in P2. Then he also crucially has got himself within DRS range to try to stick with Relentless Nathan then. So Walter, a bit more frustration added to him. But BenJS then is on a brand new set of the soft compound tyres, going to the end on those softs, so let's see what he can do from there, doing the undercut on those guys ahead, because he was in that big DRS train there. So he decided to pit, and let's see if he can get ahead of those guys.
Yeah, it's an interesting call here to go on the softs at this stage of the race. I'm not sure he'd really need to push them, or he'd really need to manage those tires, I think, to make it to the end here on that set of softs for BenJS. But I'm sure he should be able to get that done here. Like I said, just a little bit of management. He's gonna have to a little bit of lift and coasting, and maybe take it just that slight little bit easier in the first few laps here. But we'll have to see how it's all going to play out. Still, if you're stuck on that DRS train, better to just try something new and see how that plays out. If you're not making any progress in the DRS train anyways, and we'll see how that's going to work out for him near the end of the race. But approaching the end of lap 14 now, once again on board with the McLaren driver to see if he can find a way past Justice. Justice closing on Nathan, but not enough to get the overtake done. Further back, XL Larkin, he's going to take his pit stop to get off those mediums, so we'll see what he decides to go for here. Will he do a set of softs as well, or is he going to go for another set of mediums? He's going to go for a set of softs. So, interesting. Maybe my tire wear knowledge around this track is a little bit dated. Maybe the soft tires are the way to go if they can take them to the end here without too much worry of essentially exploding the tires off the car near the end of the race.
XL Larkin and BenJS towards the start of the medium compound tyres, so they're coming to the end of the stint on their mediums, hence why they've gone on the soft compound tyres. They couldn't go on the hards because that'd be way too slow of a race tyre to go towards the end. The only option was the soft compound tyre, and XL Larkin then does remain ahead of BenJS despite Dan Isaac has picked up a 3-second time penalty there, unfortunately in P7, fighting those guys ahead of him. But yeah, XL Larkin then rejoins ahead of BenJS. BenJS is about 5 seconds behind Larkin, so did BenJS have a problem there? Not quite sure, because he was in the DRS train along with Larkin, but it looks like he's dropped off quite dramatically, unless he's changed his front wing or something like that.
Yeah, it could have been a possible pit stop issue as well. Held on.
He just hit the wall into the castle section there, but I think he looked like he got away with it. Just tapped the inside front of the tyre, so it didn't hit the wing. So good recovery there from BenJS.
Yeah, good recovery for sure. Thank goodness it's not going to end up a little worse for him, because that's the last thing you want, especially just after taking a pit stop here. But you can see here as Justice, he's going to take his pit stop. He's alongside of XL Rocco. He's going to try to go down the inside. Can he get the overtake done? They're still alongside one another. It looks like Pease is just that much more ahead as they head into turn 2. Oh, Rocco's, yeah, he's gone for a spin here, and that's Dan with nearly nowhere to go as he had to essentially slam on the brakes and not run into Rocco. So unfortunately for Dan, that might be a little bit of a loss of time for him as he's in 5th. I think we might have had a battle between Nathan and Wouter up at the front as well that might have just missed because of that. But unfortunate for Rocco going for that spin. It was such a good battle with Pease. I don't think there was anything wrong with that per se. I wouldn't say Pease did anything wrong, at least from what I saw on the onboard. I think it's just the nature of this tight straight circuit and trying to go alongside turn 2. Could have been just getting on the power a little bit too early from XL Rocco as well, not helping his case, and just sending the back end for a little bit of a half spin there like what we saw.
Yeah, it looks like he was sliding in the corner, so he must have locked his rear brakes up and therefore gone for that spin. I don't think there was no contact between Total Pease himself, because I think Pease left enough room on the outside for Rocco to have some space there, so Rocco must have locked the rear brakes. But I think these guys now have to pit because they're going to respond to the undercut from Justice. I don't think they could go to the end of these tyres. 24 laps, I'm not quite sure if that's doable. If it is doable, then they'll stay out, of course, but if it's not, then they're going to have to pit this lap to respond to Justice. And here comes Walter on Relentless Nathan then, as they go side by side, but now Walter will have the DRS, and he will get ahead of Nathan then. So, yeah, like you said, I'm not quite sure if my tyre knowledge is outdated here, because I know the tyres have changed now. People used to go to hard compound tyres quite a lot, but you barely see the hard compound tyres being used in this game. It's just all the tracks are mostly, in fact, nearly all of them are soft to medium. I don't know if any tracks out there are mediums to soft to hard or something like that. It used to be like in Bahrain, Hungary, and 2-stop for Abu Dhabi. That's a 1-stop now. But here comes Nathan then back on Walter. You can see Total Pease then has just gone for a pit stop in the Alfa Romeo, and he comes out on a brand new set of mediums, so he just goes the soft compound tyres, interestingly, and he rejoins that ahead of Isa. Of course, Killer Blue has retired. Is that in the pit lane?
I think
it is.
So, yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately for Killer Blue. And Pease then gets ahead of Larkin, but Larkin, we expect him to be quicker than Pease because he is on 1 lap on soft compound tyres then, so he should be faster than Pease, while Pease just came out of the pit lane on a fresh set of medium compound tyres, just getting warmed up there. So, yeah, you can see there. Justice rejoins ahead of Pease with a 3-second gap, benefiting from the soft compound tyres. The undercut really works for him, and let's see that towards the end of the race, can Justice catch on to the back on Nathan and Walter?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. He's gonna have to push those soft tires just a little bit here. But I will say, similar to some of the other runners that we saw, Justice, he started on that set of mediums, so he was taking that one and only scheduled pit stop that he was planning right from the get-go of the race to get on the softs. So, I mean, as far as Nathan and Wouter are concerned, they did pit on lap 1, so it is something they're going to have to consider, as we've got a yellow flag here. I think that was Captain Blade having a bit of a moment in the castle section there. But as much as a pit stop is something to consider, and speaking of pit stops, Nathan, he says, yep, I'm going to pit for a set of softs. I got to respond to Justice. Dan also taking that pit stop, but meanwhile, Wouter staying out, and also Jamie 1 also still staying out on what are 17-lap-old medium tires here. So interesting here from Jamie's. He's gonna try. Looks like he's trying a bit of an overcut here. Justice, meanwhile, jumps up into P3 now. But Wouter, let's see, is he gonna want to pit here at the end of this lap, or is he gonna commit to the end of the race on that set of medium tires and just hope for the best if he can hold on? If you were in Wouter's shoes, would you pit, or what do you think you'd do here?
Depends on the tyre. I'm not quite sure, because I didn't think I don't think those tyres could go towards the end. Let's see, about 8 laps to go. With 15 plus 8, about 23 laps. You've got a safety car there, but I only stayed out for 2 laps. So, yeah, I'm not quite sure, because I haven't raced here for quite a long time. And the last time I did race here, it was just full of safety cars. So I'm not quite sure how long the tyres could go for. No knowledge about the mediums or the softs, but If he stays out one more lap, then I dare say he'll go to the end because he can't afford to stay out. He'll just reduce his laps of catching back towards Nathan and Justice. Justice, however, has got ahead of Nathan. Nathan then behind Peas and Lockett as they both pitted 1 or 2 laps before Nathan. But you can see Nathan is on the back of Lockett, who's vulnerable. He has no DRS, and I'm pretty sure Nathan will get by him quickly as he can on the straight to try and do the undercut of Relentless Walter. But let's see then, will Relentless Walter go in the pit lane? No. So I dare say Walter could be going to the end because he would have lost a lot of time. You already see how undercut the powerful is between Peas, Lockett, and who's only under pressure from Nathan behind. Then they go side by side on the straight as Jamie Ward is in the pit lane just as set the fastest lap of the race, and Nathan's got himself ahead of XL Lockett. That's one car cleared. The next one is Total Peace ahead of him. 3 seconds further up is Justice, so you can see there how powerful the undercut is. I'm not quite sure if Walter's able to pit, because look at that, the gap between Justice and Walter is 8 seconds, and you won't be able to make that up towards the end of the race because you're going to run out of lap times, unfortunately, there for Walter. So this is the only choice of staying out there.
Yeah, it's the only choice of staying out there. I mean, let's see, there's about 7 laps to go. We have a yellow flag here in Sector 1. What happened here? That looks to be Ben JS, possibly, that brought that out. I think might have had a bit of a squirrely moment, possibly, which would have brought out the yellow flag. But we're continuing on here, so nothing to worry too much about that. But I think... okay. Hello.
He's letting everybody go. BJS is letting everybody go. I'm not quite sure if he's got a problem though, because it looks like he had a problem coming out of one of the corners there. Doesn't look like he's got full wind damage to me, unless it's light green and wants to get out everybody's way just in case he causes more incidents for himself there with the lack of downforce in the high speed corners. So BJS there looking like he's going to come to the pit lane at the end of this lap and possibly, retire. Yeah. Come on, Ben. Come on, Ben. That can't be serious. That's not a purpose crash. It's just caused a safety car. Yeah, BJS looked like he was going flat out in that corner and possibly upsetting somebody's race or quite a few people's race. But Walter, I don't think it's a no-brainer to pit because if he stays out there, he's going to get swallowed by the field. So here comes Walter there for a pit stop.
Yeah, so Walter taking a pit stop here. Is Justice going to follow suit? Yeah, Justice is going to follow suit. I think just take that fresh set. P is, of course, going to get on a set of soft tires. Nathan staying out, though, which, I mean, I like that call from Nathan. He pit just 1 lap ago. So, really, you're gaining more than you're losing by staying out here, I think, getting that track position. And we know how Nathan is with the... with his tire wear, but that's going to effectively make it so that Wouter's going to be out in second. Isaac Kush staying out on that set of mediums as well, and he finds his way up into third now with this safety car. Yeah, just lining himself right alongside of the of Wouter there. So
he wants to get past him. Look, he's trying to get past him, but he can't. Yeah. It's legal overtake. I watched those two come out of the pit lane because Walter, I was suspecting to come out somebody somewhere close, but it was fair that Walter got ahead of him because he was ahead of him coming out of the pit lane. So I think Issa Kush there just upset that he got ahead of him, but he shouldn't overtake him because that's Walter's place. But yeah, Issa Kush there, Telepole medium compound tyres is surrounded by people who are on a brand new set of the soft compound tyres or at least got some good tyre life in them, so it looks like Issa Kush then will be under pressure towards the end of this race. But yeah, it looks like the race has changed a lot because I thought Walter would be under massive pressure for those guys behind. Would he have got a puncher towards the end of the race being on those old degraded medium compound tyres? The safety cars helped him massively because A, he's only lost 1 position, and B, he's on a brand new set of soft compound tyres without losing any time.
Yeah, and that's Walter did have he had the clean air pre-safety car in about, I think it was an 8-second gap just about. So the key was essentially, can he hold off Justice long enough? Because Justice with having to close up those 8 seconds and get the overtake done. And of course the overtake, especially with the DRS here, is a little bit the I'll say the easy part when you're on a fresher, more grippier compound. But of course, Justice was going to be pushing on those softs too. So where the soft tire is going to have enough at the end to still provide that advantage, or would they find themselves in a bit of a similar situation by the end of the race? I mean, there were questions that I was asking myself, but now that the safety car came out here, bit of a controversial one, so to say. I guess we're so much for those questions, and now it's going to be Nathan on those slightly, ever so slightly more worn soft tires. Is he going to have enough to hang on to the lead of the race? Or are we going to have Wouter make a push on that fresh set of softs? Can he essentially gain the race? And Justice really not benefiting too much. He's on that fresh set of softs, but with the drivers that stayed out, he's got three drivers, the likes of Izat, QVR Campbell, and XL Rocco, that are between him and the top two. So that's going to be a lot more work from Justice here in that Red Bull to try to put himself back in contention with those top two runners. So it's going to be interesting to see how that's all going to play out. You can see Izat Kush still kind of wanting to get past Wouter here with the safety car, but that's going to be it's going to prove to be a little fruitless here. But I mean, what I do know for sure is that it's going to be a very interesting, very exciting final few laps here to this Grand Prix, with the grid being bunched up and all probably going to be battling for these positions here from when we go green to the end of the race. And I'm sure that's going to be something very exciting to see here as this race gets to its close.
Yeah, well, once Captain Blade and Fire Fury catches up, I think the safety car will disappear. It could be disappearing at the end of this lap. That depends how quickly Captain Blade and Fire Fury comes in. If we pass turn 16, and if they don't close in, then the safety car will stay one more lap. But they should do with the speed they're going at right now. We're coming towards turn 15 here, or turn 16 here, turn 17 next. But we'll see if the safety car does come in this lap. If not, it'll come in very, very late if it has the chance to. And looks like Foul Fury has caught up. Then we'll see if he does catch up towards the safety car. No, he's too far behind.
Oh, yeah, and it is going to come in.
Yeah, late end then. So Nathan then will take control of the safety car at least. He has to let the safety car go in, and wait his choice to go whenever he wants to. Walter has to concentrate here to determine whether Nathan will go or not. So he's just getting an extra bit of temperature in the tyres then. Let's see if he can get a good restart. The thing is though, he won't be pressured from behind because Issa Kush is on all the tyres, so therefore won't be a threat. QVR Campbell will be looking to overtake Issa Kush as quickly as he can, so we can continue fighting the top two like they were early in the race then. So let's see then, when does Nathan pull the trigger? He go halfway down the straight, doesn't want to give too much of a slipstream towards that Walter, and the stage car is in the pit lane, so Nathan can pull away whenever he wants to. And there he goes, there, good launch there from Nathan there, and Walter doesn't get threatened from behind there, as you can see. Justice right behind XO Rocket, looking to go into turn number one then. Do all stay far behind so far? Can't make an overtake into turn number one. Can they? No, they can't. Let's see into turn number two then. You can see Walter rather back at Nathan. Comments, this has got past Larkin Pease, he's got past Dan Isaac there for P8 for the race. Eastern Kush, however, remains in P3 despite being an older medium compound tyre. But when he suffer in these slow speed corners, as QVR Campbell have more grip and more speed in these slow speed corners there, able to get back on the Eastern Kush and try and make an overtake on them. As further back, you can see something's happening. It looked like QVR Comments this faces the wrong way around there, and looks like XO Rocco is fighting. Oh yeah, I know what's happened to QVR Campbell. QVR Campbell looks like he's getting poor exits out of every single corner. Every single corner, it looked like he's having massive oversteer. Pease has got past Jamie Warren. That's a good move there from the Alfa Romeo. Doesn't hit the wall in the exit. But yeah, QVR Campbell looks like the car's slashed a lot on the rear. He's just not being able to get the exit he wants to, and therefore just loses a lot of time. You can see it's cost him dearly now because XO Rocco is up into P4. He's also the medium compound tyres. Could he find himself on the podium? Because these are Kush on much older tyres, and QVR Campbell will be able to fight back on those two medium runners ahead.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Of course, you can't count out Justice here with the pace he's shown throughout the race, being on that fresh set of softs. He's going to have to find a way to get past QVR Campbell, but with with the way QVR Campbell's been struggling here these last few corners, with the traction with his exits, this first overtake should prove to be decently enough. You can see a little bit of movement here, a little bit further up, as I think is trying to break the toe. Justice and QVR Campbell going side by side into turn one. Down the inside goes the Red Bull driver, and they're still alongside Ian the Aston Martin, but as they head through turn two, it looks like it is going to be Justice who gets the overtake done. Can QVR Campbell fight back? Looks like he's going to try, but might not be able to truly get that fight back just there. He's going to have to go the long way around into turn 3. Oh, but a little bit of contact, yeah, between Justice and XL Rocco. Justice, you heard the screech, the lockup, trying to get that car stopped, but maybe focusing a little bit on QVR Campbell behind and not realizing where that braking zone was and missing it by about, I'll say, a 100th of a second, and just enough to make some slight contact with XL Rocco, but I don't think that's going to affect either driver too much here going forward to the end of this race. I don't think there was any damage that happened here. But up at the front, you can see a gap has started to form here between the top 2 and the rest of the field. So Izat is struggling, so to say, on those older medium tires compared to the top 2, but crucially he's been able to hang on to that P3 and keep the rest of the field behind him here, which is great for for Wouter and Nathan, because they'll know that this battle is going to come down to effectively both of them here for the win, and less with anybody else here who's just stuck in this traffic, unable to get ahead.
Yes, indeed, and you can see that XL Rocco right back Isa Kush, followed by Justice. Isa Kush will be assisted duck on the straight, with not being in the stage strip, and there goes Rocco, and here comes Justice. Then we'll make it 3 wide as we make our way down into turn 1. XL Rocco down the inside. As you can see there, Justice sticking around the outside there. Rocco acknowledging that there's a car alongside him because he overtook Isa Kush, and XL Rocco moves himself up to P3. So it looks like Isa Kush backed out of that, knowing that he's just going to be vulnerable to those guys and therefore be inevitable for those two to overtake him. So he wisely backed out. He's under pressure from Pease then as we make our way down into turn number 2. As Pease outbroke himself, no, he does. Oh, a bit of contact between Isha and Pease. Isha has lost places towards QVR Campbell. Now he's under pressure from J1 behind. So Isha is struggling with those medium compound tyres. Both Ferraris following there in P9 and P10 there, but it was a clean move into turn 1 with going 3 wide, and Isa Kush was wise to back out of it, knowing that those guys will definitely overtake him, as Val Fiore and Captain Blade had their own fight as they're making their way down into turn 2 then side by side. But there's a bit of contact there. Val Fiore then stays ahead of the Alfa Romeo driver. But yeah, can XL Rocco though on the medium compound tyres hold on to this podium? I believe it'll be his second podium of the season if he makes this count, because he had them in Portugal. Him and XL Larkin had a podium in Portugal. Those two had a fantastic race there. Can they make it work today? The thing is though, XL Rocco will be sitting down the straight with no DRS of course, and being on the medium compound tyres. There's 3 laps to go, including this one. As you can see, there's make our way coming out of turn number 17. In the last few corners we go, Walter is right behind Nathan. When will Lee decide to make an overtake on him? Because he can sit behind him, wait for the last possible moment to try and overtake him or slipstream his way down before the finish line. As we make our way then towards the DRS line, Walter has the DRS then, he closes it, so it indicates he's not going for it. Will Nathan try and save some EOS later for the race, knowing that Wild's not going to go for it? Here comes Justice, and here comes another driver. There's Total Pease. Total Pease goes down the inside, he outbreaks himself, and here comes XL Rock, and there's contact, and Pease hits the wall. Justice puts Pease in the wall. Unfortunately, there's not enough room for all 3 of them. XL Rocco took advantage of that, and contact's been made there with 3 cars going into 1. Pease outbroke himself. Justice had to watch out for XL Rocco also going down the inside, and therefore made contact with Pease then. So unfortunately, one of them lost out.
Yeah, very unfortunate for that. I was on board with Pease watching that happen in live time, and it looked like they went 3 wide once again. But the middle car did break a little bit early, but it looked like Pease did also outbrake himself just a little bit, went very deep into turn 1, and effectively that position on the exit of turn 1, right up close to the wall. And as we all know, that wall on the exit of turn 1 creeps up at you if you're not careful. And I think that's exactly what happened. Of course, did help by the other 2 drivers that were still fighting along with each other. I think that was Justice involved, as well as I can't remember who that 3rd one was, but I know they were still involved with one another in their own battle. I think Justice and Rocco possibly, but still very unfortunate for Pease, as that was a good effort. Yeah, Bizak Kush going a little bit slow here, and it looks like he doesn't have a front wing either on that car. So I'm not too sure what happened to Isaac Kush, but unfortunately from good to bad to worse for the Mercedes drivers. He's going very slow, and that's going to be another pit stop here for a brand new front wing. Now, further at the front, Justice overtaking XL Rocco, and Jamie 1 getting ahead of Dan with DRS here to start the final lap of the Grand Prix. Up at the front, though, Nathan and Wouter still battling here. Wouter is using DRS now as he's going to try to close up. I don't know if he's going to go for the overtake here. I think he's going to try to save it for the run down to the start-finish straight here. Try to get the overtake done at the line. But with about two-thirds of a lap to go here for the leaders, it's all going to come down to this. I think it's all going to come down to that Sector 3, that last run to the line. I think for now, where they're situated, Wouter is going to have DRS, but I'm sure Nathan is well aware of that as he's going to try to, I think he's going to try to pick his corner exits perfectly to minimize the damage, and he's got to be thinking about his battery as well, saving some of that ERS so he can use that to defend as we're approaching the end of this race. Justice, though, he found a way to get up into P3 here with a little bit of help from some other drivers, so that's looking good for him. But as they round
look at this, look at this, look at this.
Oh,
Nathan's backed out. Nathan has backed out. He wants the DRS. Oh, wow, to quit out. I'll turn number 18 then. His little party trick is Nathan. And let's see then, has this worked as we make our way down the straight then? Is Nathan close enough for Wouter to try and take him back for the lead? Oh, let's see then as we make our way. DRS enabled for Nathan then. Has he got a Wouter? Has it worked as we make our way towards the line? Wouter wins the Grand Prix ahead of Nathan. It hasn't worked for Nathan then. Pulling out. Coming out turn 18. And his little move did not work this time, unfortunately for him. But yeah, I think he backed off too much there. And Wouter was able to get the launch and stay ahead. So yeah, that didn't work out for Nathan. I was about to say he needed a decent exit coming out of turn 18. Turn 18, if he could get a decent exit, we'll have a chance of staying ahead of Wouter using the DRS. But this time he pulls to the left-hand side, and Wouter took advantage of that. And he was able to stay ahead with enough ERS in the hand, saving it the laps previously, and able to out-drag him towards the line.
Yeah, I mean, that was a crazy finish there. A bold strategy call from Nathan to try to use DRS to his advantage. Unfortunately, though, it didn't work out for him as Wouter had some battery available to him to use. Just not enough run, but you can see how close it was. 0.08 of a second separate the top two there. So had the line been just a little bit more, had they had just a little bit more straight, that could have ended just a little bit differently. But I mean, a great fight to the finish, and I mean, an interesting strategy. I guess Nathan was thinking about that DRS. I was thinking he was going to go the route of just nailing the exit and trying to use the battery, defend as much as he could, try to break the toe as much as he could. But Nathan had different ideas, and just didn't quite work out the way he was hoping for here at the end of the race. But fantastic race nonetheless, and it's the McLaren on the top step of the podium of Wouter, with Justice rounding out that final step there in P3 after what was a very solid race from the Red Bull driver here.
Yeah, it is, and good job to Justice there, making the strategy call work. P3, that's how close it was between Nathan and Wouter. Pretty sure it's even closer, but there is a little bit of a glitch towards the end of the race. J1, quite a race for him. We didn't see much of him in the race, but he did a fantastic job from go P6. He got disqualified in qualifying due to glitch with the game, because if he went backwards for like 2 seconds trying to get himself back on the track, but unfortunately classed as disqualification, and he finished in P6. Both Ferraris in P7 and P8 there. Dan unfortunately missing out with that 3 second time penalty. Comments, there's P9, Isa Kush in P10, Captain Blade in P11, and Valfio in P12 and P13. Ben JS then caused the safety car, and we had a spicy last few laps of the race, and it was Wouter who took the victory in the end. Nathan tried to dummy him, but it looks like he just to get to the line as quickly as he would have wanted.
Yep. I mean, game of inches, 0.08 of a second was the difference there. But my goodness, that was a great end to a very eventful Azerbaijan Grand Prix. We'll get the blue screen here, I think, ladies and gentlemen, as we'll see if I can get drivers in for that post-race interview. Looking at the podium, I think a lot of them might already have that the invite into the exclusive club, but as I try to get the PlayStation to listen to what I want to do, there we go. We'll see soon enough, so shouldn't be too long now as I just send the party invites over and see if we'll be able to get any post race thoughts here. So there's one. Pass it and. Okay, so they do already have them, but looks like we do already have a driver who jumped in, and it looks like it's Nathan. So Nathan, as I head to the car screen here, just want to check, can you hear us at all?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Perfect. All right. So I mean, it was I'll say a stellar qualifying from you, all considered. I mean, a lap that, I mean, for me personally, with my standards, kind of blew my mind there. Pole position, a pretty good race all throughout, just didn't quite work out at the end of the race for you, but talk us through. What were your thoughts here on that Grand Prix?
Yeah, obviously quality was actually really well. I think I was only like 600ths off my personal best, so to get it in the session, well, to get as close as I did in the session was very nice. Had a little bit of slip from the Aston Martin, but yeah, was just like close enough when he was starting his lap. But I think I would have got pole anyway. It was only like a 10th game. And yeah, the race just kind of pretty conservative, I guess. Trying to, obviously, because Baku, as we saw in the race, like you can just pick up damage really easily with how close the walls are, and yeah, it was just kind of like a reasonable battle between me and Walter. Made a nice double move into turn one, and then yeah, obviously last lap, I had to try something because Walter, with his extra downforce, was just like getting a really good run out of the final corner, so I just had to try and use my extra straight line speed and try a repeat of the USA sprint race, which, yeah, obviously in the end missed out 800ths here, but yeah, happy to get P2 still.
I mean, you covered my follow-up question there, which was essentially just the that last lap there right at the end. So Jamie, you got anything to add at all?
Yeah, so with 4 minutes and 30 seconds left to go in qualifying session, did you sacrifice a set of softs for the race? Last set of softs?
Yeah, like I saw it was 5 seconds clear and kind of knew it was safe, I think. I think there was only like maybe 1 or 2 drivers that could have like got near it, but I don't think on pure pace like anyone would have beaten it, maybe without slip. So yeah, it was a case of obviously being safe and well, in the end, just saving a set of softs, which was kind of needed, although the softs were pretty bad in the end.
How are you towards the line? Were you very frustrated?
Nah, not really, because obviously I think Walter, he might have gone into P2 now, but with your own obviously having a race ban and Campbell finishing down lower, I think it still extends, so just kind of picking up, I think at least top 5s, maybe top 3s, so it's just kind of the aim really. Obviously with Belgium next week, it's an okay track for me, but obviously the sprint can maybe pull up some surprises. Just got to not invalidate the qualifying lap or the one shot, and then just see where we go from there. But yeah, just the last 3 races, just kind of keep it on track and kind of clean.
Is Giroud coming back for the next race? Do you know?
Yeah. I believe he is. I think obviously it was just this race. Well, obviously it was meant to be France, but we obviously postponed France due to the Miami race. So I think, yeah, it was just tonight that Mark and Euron had to miss it.
Yeah, that's all it was for the I guess the funny business in Australia that we saw. But I mean, it was a great drive from you, Nathan. I mean, congratulations on the podium. So close, game of inches, and I'm sure you'll be lobbying Baku to extend that start-finish line. Just push it forward a little bit.
Yeah,
But,
cheers. Thank you both for comms as well.
no problem. But I mean, speaking of, we got I guess, the wrong side of that. We'll get to the right side of that. So, Wouter, can you hear us at all?
Yes, I can.
All right, so I think it was a pretty good qualifying from you right at the end of the session, getting that P2, that front row of the grid start. I mean, seemingly a business as usual, for the most part, type race, always up near the front, involved with those battles. But I mean, talk us through it. What were your thoughts here on that race?
Yeah, the tires were not great, so I had to try and finish the race on mediums. Everyone else pit, and just gamble with it. I think Justus would have easily got me, but might have been close with your like P2 and the rest. But then safety came out, and I was just got a free pit stop, so that was it was nice. And then what was it? The last run, the last few laps, I just had to sit behind Nathan and just wait till the last lap, and then and I didn't expect Nathan to try anything. I was completely I fully didn't expect it, and then because I almost broke myself to get the DRS myself, but I didn't do it, and then yeah, just worked out.
And I mean, I personally, just wanted to ask, had the safety car not come out, and given that we were seeing a lot of drivers around you taking that second pit stop for a set of softs, were you committed to staying out on those mediums, or were you still considering at the time if you wanted to just take that pit stop, get on the softs, and even out the playing field a little bit?
No, I was definitely staying out. I was definitely committing to the one stop. If I wanted to pit earlier, then it was only like I could only pit before the rest of the guys next to me. And if I pit later, I would have just been way too far behind.
All right, and Jamie, anything to add to that at all?
Yeah, Walter, do you think those if the safety car didn't come out, do you think those medium tires could have gone to the end? Those
they could have gone to the end, yes, for sure. But I don't think I could have kept Justice behind me. But maybe P3 and P4 at that point.
what was your thoughts when Nathan pulled out of the way to get a DRS off you?
Oh, I didn't expect it. I thought we were just gonna have a nice run to the line, because I know Nathan was running lower downforce, so I thought he was gonna stay in front. But he pulled out of the way, and I think he messed up a little bit by waiting a little too long. But yeah.
Congrats to the win, mate.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, congratulations. And last but not least, I did see Justice jump in. So, Justice, can you hear us at all?
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening.
Good
So,
evening.
I'll say it was, I mean, I'll call it a pretty good qualifying from you, really with the only driver in the top 10 to go on the mediums. Definitely worked out for you with that early safety car that just skyrocketed you up. But from there, it was a fantastic race from you. But I mean, I want to get your thoughts. Talk us through it. What were your thoughts here on that race?
Yeah, lap one was a bit chaotic. I think Nolan was on a mission to try to kill me. I don't know. It was really close in turn one, I think. He tried to maybe bump past me in turn two, and then really tried. The guy said I left no room in the castle section. He is not too bright, I think. Yeah, the karma caught him. So yeah, he crashed out. I escaped with no damage, and yeah, the first SG really helped me out. So I jumped right at the front. Then yeah, the guys with fresher mediums were a bit quicker, so I didn't fight. I just tried to stay second, follow the DRS train. Yeah, I thought my tire wear was really good, so I jumped first for the first softs, and then the second safety car was a bit unlucky. So that's a pity, but overall, yeah, it was a good race, finishing on the podium.
Yeah, and I wanted to ask you, just had that second safety car not come out, I was looking at the gap, about 8 seconds between yourself in second and Walter in first. were you feeling confident that you'd be able to close that gap and get the overtake done at that time?
Yeah, for sure. I knew I'm gonna catch him. Like I couldn't believe that he's trying to bring the tires to the end. Like I don't imagine what the state of those tires at the end. Like, yeah, but fair play. He took the gamble, and yeah, the luck was on his side today. Yeah, so fair play.
All right, and Jamie, anything to add at all?
That's it, really. I thought. Did you escape without any full wind damage when you had that crash in the castle section, Justice?
Yeah, I was sent sideways into the wall on the.
I thought so.
Section. Yeah, but I escaped with no damage at all. So karma for Nolan, and yeah, really after that, yeah, it was just. I was expecting the chaos, and yeah, the very end was delivered.
I was on board with him when you both hit when he hit you, and yeah, they say you had more rights to the corner because it was such a tight corner.
There's no chance. I would have tried to if he's like completely beside me, but I think he was just barely with the front wing in my rear tire. So there's no way I'm gonna leave space. It's impossible to leave space. So yeah, it happened. What happened? But yeah, karma.
Congratulations. Congratulations on P3 anyway, mate.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, congratulations to you, and congratulations to all the podium. Enjoy that champagne here after that race. But I think that's gonna do it here for the stream, ladies and gentlemen. After a very exciting Azerbaijan Grand Prix, and Jamie, any last words before we round things out here?
It's been a good race as always, as in the Baku Grand Prix. So it's nice to commentate with you again after a week's break from the Miami Grand Prix, and Belgium next up with the sprint race, so hopefully it'll be a good one there. I know the sprint race will cause plenty of action because sprint race is a lot of pressure put on the drivers there trying to get the perfect lap just with the one lap with the unknown conditions, so can't wait for that to happen next week. And everybody enjoy your week off and have a good week next week.
Yep. Couldn't have said it better myself. It's going to be a good one next week as we take to Spa for the Belgian Grand Prix sprint race qualifying. You're not going to want to miss that one. But I mean, until then, that's all we've got for you. So on behalf of Jamie, myself, and everybody here at ISRL Esports, I want to say thank you so much for watching, and have yourselves a fantastic evening.